Hello everyone and welcome to the new episode of the Darktable. In this episode I have few portraits and I would like to improve the visual appearance of those photos. So let's get started. Let's analyze a little bit our photo. To be able to do that I will improve a little bit basic things here. Brighten it a little bit, maybe add some contrast and saturation so that we can judge the scene a little bit better. And now you can see it already looks quite nice, but I think we can give this scene a little bit different tone because this woman wears some kind of traditional skirt with those ornaments there, and I think we need to find some tone, some other appearance of the photo which can justify that a little bit better. And we have two main areas on the photo, and that is the skin area and the rest. So we will first try to improve a little bit of skin tones, and then we will see what can we do with the background. So let's improve the skin a little bit first, and for that we will use Retouch module, and I will put it about color calibration because the colors were changed, that white balancing. And skin is quite nice actually, but needs just a tiny bit of retouching, so let's do that quick. First we need to find how many scales we do need for this case. So let me say something like that, and we can immediately start to improve that. First I will use the blur tool and add a path on some area of the skin to see what do I get. Maybe add some bit more radius and also use a bilateral blur for that, and turn the indicator off and see. Yeah, that looks better. Now we can use continuous mode for the rest. So I will click Control key and click to add path, and now I can continuously adding paths on the skin without need to click every time on that icon. So let's do that quickly. One on the nose and one here. Just really quick. It's not important to be very precise here. So let's see before and after until there. I think I should improve a little bit the opacity. It's too much. Not too much for each of the path. So let's see now. Yeah, now it looks better. And I think about the scales, detail scales, I think we could, let me improve the visual. I think we need only to improve the first one, so we don't need to touch the others here. So let's do that. Okay, again, path. First one just for testing what needs to be done. Well, I think it's okay. Maybe we'll use Gaussian for this. Let's improve the path a little bit more. Okay, next one. And now again continuous mode, and we will see what we get. Yeah, So we don't need too much, because skin is already quite nice. Maybe, let me see, just a little bit more of, how about, no, just a little bit more of opacity. Okay, and now the last one. And one more for the nose. Okay, I think it's okay. Yeah, we don't need to improve it much better. And now I need only to remove that one blemish on the nose. So let's do that real quick with healing tool and circle tool. So okay, and this one also. And yeah, that's okay. But I think we also need to improve a little bit the hands, because they have some strange coloring. So let's try that also. So first we will try to blur it with a path. Oh, that's quite a lot, so I need to improve that just a bit. Maybe not too much blur radius. Let's see, yeah. Okay, next one. This one. I think this one could use a bit more. And I also forgot to use bilateral here. I think it's better. Let me try that also for the upper part, for the right hand. Let's use bilateral, yeah. Okay. A bit better. And I think we have here some strange thingies. Let's improve that also. So we will now use healing tool only for this part, and also path. And now when I click with Shift key, I would like to use this area. For improvement, so let's go with opacity quite high, and one more. So let's go there. And I think we are done with retouching. And now, as next step, I would like only to improve a little bit the colors of the hands, because they are quite different from the skin of the face. So let's do that. So I will create one more instance of the retouch module, because I would like to apply also one blend mode with which we can protect the lightness of the area. And now I can use, so let me just see. I think we don't need to separate too much here, because we want only to improve the colors, and we also use that chromaticity blend mode, so it's not necessary to go too far. And now I can use fill tool and color. And interesting thing is that you have seen that in the last episode I have struggled with that color picker. Now we can use when I use color picker and choose some colors, I need first to disable it to be able to use some of path, some of the shapes. And one of the developers and maintainer of Darktable, Pascal Aubry, has seen my struggle in the last episode and has immediately improved the behavior. Now when I choose the color with the color picker and now I choose one of the shapes, the color picker will be automatically disabled. So that's quite nice improvement. And thank you for that, Pascal. So let's make some shapes, some path, and let me see. The question is, what kind of color should we use? Let me try something else, maybe this one. A little bit more colorful, something like that I think is quite suitable. So let me improve the mask a bit more, something like that. So, and we only need to improve the other hand. So let's use another path for that. Or maybe this time I will go down with opacity. We don't need to improve it too much. So before and after, let me see. Yeah. Okay, we're done with the colors in the skin. Let's see what we can do next. I would like to add now some local contrast, so I will use diffuse and sharpen module, the preset for that. Maybe improve it even a bit better. And maybe one more instance for quick sharpening, so nothing fancy, just a tiny bit. And now we have a nice and sharp image. And as you remember, at the start of the editing, I would like to improve the background a little bit more, give that background a little bit other tone. And for that I will use color balance RGB new instance, because I would like to color grade a little bit that area. And what I want to influence is everything except eyes and that ring. So I think that should stay bluish. And for the background, I think it could be good to have some kind, just a light sepia touch. So let's mask. Mask the area first. So we need to protect the eyes. So I will use two paths for that. Let me see. What do we get? I need to invert that path. Okay, let's add another one. It doesn't need to be too special, precise. Okay, we need to improve the opacity of the mask. I'll settle something like that, and maybe feathering just a tiny bit, and also contrast. And the ring. So let me see. Okay, we also need to improve opacity, and now we will change the colors on the other parts and eyes, and the ring stays as here. So we go now to the four-ways tab, and as I have said, I would like to have some kind of sepia tone, but not too much, just a bit. So we can start first with hue, with a global offset. Just search for some interesting hue, something like that. And I think we also need to improve the midtones with the power function. Something like that. I'm thinking, should we need also shadows? Okay, just tiny bit. But now our photo looks oversaturated. So we will go to the master tab and remove the saturation with global chroma. Just a tiny bit. And maybe also a little bit more in the highlights. So let me try to improve that just a bit more. I think it's too much in the shadows. We don't need too much in the shadows. Yeah. And now we're done. You see now we have that sepia tone. And what I like in this scene now is that contrast between lips and eyes and also the background. So let's see before and after. So we need to enable our left panel, go to the color calibration, take a snapshot, and go to the last step, and now it's quite nice. Mood. So it's not realistic, but I like that. I like that special mood of that photo. Okay, let's try another example. In this example, we need a better separation from our main subject, that model with a nice red skirt, from the background. And I think we will do the quite opposite from the last example. So we need to give the background some other color tone, because as you can see, the skin of the model is quite similar to the color of the steps of the background. So we need to improve that. And we also need to improve the skin itself. I think just a little bit of retouching. So, and I think, yeah, I think we need also to brighten a little bit of skin. Okay, so let's get started. Well, we will start with some basic adjustments, lens correction, for example, denoising. I think we don't need to brighten the photo too much, but what you can do is to add some contrast with color balance RGB. Oh, that's too far. And also some saturation. Practically the steps that I always made. And I think we need to darken that area just a tiny bit more. So we'll use tone equalizer for that real quick. And maybe go just a tiny bit down. Okay, I think the basic improvements are done. And now we can try to retouch the skin a little bit. Let's go the 100% first, so that we can see the details in the skin a little bit better. And now I will use the retouch module. I will put it above color calibration, because of the color calibration has changed the colors by weather balancing. So, and now we need to separate our photo to the different scales. Let me see what kind of scale is good. I think we can leave it there. And now we will use blur tool and improve the skin color a little bit, the higher contrasts. So let's try that with the first mask to be able to see how far we should go. Okay, we can use bilateral here. Disable mask indicator. Yeah, that's okay. So now we can use continuous mode, control key, and click on that path icon. And apply that improvement on other parts of the skin. So I don't want to use too much time for that. It could be much better improved, but it's not important. Nose, I don't think we need to improve the nose, but this area here we have some blemishes. So let's try to improve that, and maybe just one more here. Okay. Do we need this scale? The details here, let me see. Let me improve. Maybe. Maybe those two. Okay. So let's use a path again. Oh, that's too much. So we need to improve that. That's far too much. We can also use Gaussian here. Okay, I think that's better. So continuous mode again. And let's try only those areas which needs improvement. Okay. I don't think we need to improve the details here, but what we need to improve here is some blemishes. So now we can use healing tool, start with the white one, and try to heal those blemishes. We have 33% opacity, so let's go with opacity a little bit up and see what we get. Yeah, that's okay. So continuous mode. We don't have too much, only few. I think that's enough. We don't need to do anything else. Okay. So we have finished with details in the skin, but what we need now is to improve a little bit the colors. So we will use the next instance of the retouch module and maybe separate only one or two scales, because we would like to change only the colors, not the details, so we don't need to that high separation there. And now I will use, like in the last example, chromaticity as blend mode. Go to the fill tool, choose the color that I think needs to be that is good for that area here, and now we will try to improve those bluish areas a little bit. So let's start. Maybe a bit more feathering. Let me see. Yeah. So let's do that in continuous mode for the rest. We don't have too much. Maybe something like that. And only this one small area. Okay. So now I think we're finished with our skin. And let me see what can we do next. So I would like to improve a little bit of local contrast, so we'll use diffuse and sharpen module. Just apply a little contrast preset, maybe a bit more. Let me see, yeah, that's enough. And I think we need to improve the shadows because we added a little bit more shadows by diffuse and sharpen. I can use tone equalizer just real quick. Yeah, that's okay. So, yeah. Okay. Now, the next step will be to separate our model from the background. So now we'll use a next instance of color balance for that and try to mask our model. So we go to the hue thingy here and try to choose the colors of the model. I don't know, something like that. Let me see what we get. Oh, it's almost perfect, but I need more here. So I think we can go further here. Let me see. Or there also. Oh no, no, this one not. Let's see. Oh, what do we have? Everything covered. Maybe we can play with, yeah. But now we have also other areas we don't, we don't need. So we can use now drone masks to remove those areas which are masked that we don't need. So let's try that. And we not, of course, we need to toggle the polarity. As you can see now, we can precise adjusted mask. Let me see where that thingy stops. Somewhere here on this part. We are good. Maybe a bit more there. Let me see, yeah. And of course of this side too. So let's use one more. Oh, we don't need that part here. Okay. Okay, we need to see. Okay, here we need to go a bit further inside. Maybe also this one. I would like to adjust it quite nicely. Yeah. And here we have a problem. So we need one more. Only for this area here. So let me see. Are we done now? Yeah, more or less. Let's adjust the feathering even better. Okay, now the mask is done. And now we need, if you want to, oh, here I need to adjust that part here. Just a moment. A bit better, excuse me, real quick. Okay, maybe too much radius, yeah. Okay, that's enough, but we need to toggle the polarity of the thingies. Let me try that. And now I think I need to improve this one more. Just a bit. Maybe just go down with feathering and there also. Yeah, this one maybe a little bit. And I think it's okay. We can improve it even better, but it's enough for that. So now we have masked our background, and I would like now to give that background just a bit more colder color. So I will go with global offset, go a bit up with blue, maybe also in shadows, let me see, and above all in midtones. I think, oh, that's too much, just a bit. So let me see before and after. Oh, that's better. That's much better. And now we only need to improve our skin a little bit. As I said at the start of the editing, we need to improve a little bit of contrast and brighten that skin. So we'll use now next instance of color balance RGB and try to mask our skin only. So let me see. Let's try also that hue slider for that and see what we get. Okay, we need to improve that. I don't know which direction. I think this direction is better. Now we need to improve the feathering also, and maybe that contrast, and also mask opacity. And now we need to one more drone mask to reduce that effect only on the skin. So let's try that quick. Bam. And also there. Here. And a little bit face here. It's nice. It's really crazy how nice you can adjust that mask with that feathering feathering guide and feathering radius here. That mask refinement in Darktable is quite sophisticated, I must say. So let's say that's enough. Okay, and now we'll go with highlights, tiny bit up. I don't know, that's okay. Then we can also play a little bit with 4-way tab. I think we can give the skin in the midtones tiny bit more, some kind of orangey tone. But we can go to the master tab and remove the saturation from the highlights. I think that could be quite nice improvement. Yeah, look at that. Maybe let me try another tone. It fits much better the skin tone. I don't know, shadows. Yeah, tiny bit. But that's enough. You can see it's already quite nice. Yeah, that is how I like it. I think the last step should be, I think the retouch module is quite high. It's too much, so I will reduce the opacity just a tiny bit, yeah. So that we don't lose too much details in the skin. Okay. And now we have nice separation between our model and the background. And it's quite nice complementary colors. So let's see before and after. what was the first step? That was color calibration, I think. Take a snapshot and go to the last step, and you can see that's a nice improvement. Okay, let's see the next example. Here we have a quite nice framing. Our model is in the middle and geometrically quite nice. But we need to improve a little bit the brightness of our model and also the colors. And what's also need to be done, I think we need much better separation between the sky and that area with our model, with the brightness and also in the color wise. So let's get started. So first, few basic adjustments. I don't know, should I go with exposure a bit up or immediately to go to color balance and give it the scene that contrast and a little bit of saturation. And as you can see, our model is quite dark, so we need to use color calibration new instance, because there we can use brightness tab and darken the blue channel and compensate that by brightening the red channel. As you can see, we are immediately improving the brightness of our model, because the most of the color is red there. As you can see, quite nice improvement. Let's go a little bit higher. And I think we can do two things now. I will use also that color calibration instance that I created for the brightening of the red channel and darkening of the blue, to improve just a bit distinction between those two channels. So I will use now channel mixer for that. So I will remove from the blue part, I will remove a little bit red there. Let's see, something like that. Add a bit back. And now we have also improved our colors there. Maybe just a tiny bit of the green channel also, so that we have some some colder shadows there. Just for, yeah, that's better. Now we have the brighter parts of the photo also a little bit warmer in the color, and that darker parts are also a little bit colder. So the next improvement should be, I think we need to, let me think, I think we need to darken a little bit the sky. So I will use another exposure module, go above color calibration 1, because I would like to darken it after that. And now I will mask the sky real quick. I don't know how far, how much, let me see. What do we get? Feathering radius and contrast. I think we need to improve a little bit. It doesn't need to be too much precise. You will not notice that, but to some extent we should leave that masking a little bit more time. For example, this area there, maybe even more. Yeah, you see, that's really cool. But mask refinement in Darktable is really crazy. You see, immediately nice mask. Okay, and now I need to disable the mask indicator, and we will darken a little bit the sky, just a bit, so that our model is much brighter now. And I will also use one other instance of color balance RGB just to brighten a little bit the skin of the model. So let's mask that. We can use hue slider for that. Maybe choose that part of those. Oh, wrong again. I want to improve the mask a tiny bit. I'm not sure in which direction should I go. Oh yeah, that's something. So feathering now, opacity and contrast, and actually I don't think we need, okay, we can also restrict that. With a drone mask, a tiny bit more. Yeah, okay. I think it's enough. I don't think you will see the difference. Now I can improve the contrast and the highlights a tiny bit. Let me see how far should I go. Maybe darken the midtones and shadows a tiny bit, so that we have nice contrast now in the skin. And I think it's enough. I'm not sure, should we change anything in the colors of the skin? Maybe just a bit less saturation in the highlights, so we have that natural saturation there. And it already looks quite nice. Now we need to improve a bit of local contrast. Let me see, just a bit more. And I will also like to protect the shadows or the blacks from the influence. Yeah. And as you can see, it's quite nice. It's quite different. What we also could do, I could go back to our color calibration 1, where we influence the brightness of the channels, and I think we can improve a little bit colorfulness of the blue channel to add some, let's say, saturation there. Oh, because we will add saturation in this area, in the sky area, and also just a bit in the shadows, so that we have that nice separation. So let me see. Okay, and now I'll go once more to the color balance RGB 1, because our photo looks now quite oversaturated, and I would like to influence global chroma a tiny bit. So I'll go down, and I think now, yes, it looks great. Okay, before and after, so I need to go to the color calibration, excuse me, and take a snapshot and go to the color balance RGB. Yeah, that's a quite difference. So in this case we have also that that nice separation between those gold and warm colors, and that is quite nice. Okay, let's try the last example. So this one is also interesting because we have the face of our model is in the shadows, so we need to improve that. But we can use the similar method like in the last example. First, let's try with denoising. Lens correction. Oh, the lens correction doesn't work here because the lens is not supported there, but it's not important. Let's go up with exposure tiny bit. Yeah, something like that. And maybe a bit more contrasts and saturation. And as you can see, we cannot see the face of our model, quite nice, but you can use color calibration and also use that option of brightness. Darken the blue channel and brighten the red one. Let's see how far. Maybe also green. Something like that. And I think we can also mask the face and brighten it a tiny bit more with a mask. So let's do that real quick. Something like that. Let me see. What do we get when we add feathering and tiny bit of mask contrast? So I will say it's okay. So you don't need always to be quite precise by masking. Sometimes it's just enough to gather that the row part, because you won't notice that when you brighten your picture. As you can see, you don't see that some edges and our model looks now quite nice. So what else needs to be improved? I think we could also use that color calibration to remove that reddish sky, reddish part of the sky, similar to the last example. I will use now channel mixer for that. Maybe also remove that. Oh, too much red. How about yellowish? No, that's too yellowish. So it's interesting, only with that one module color calibration we have improved our photo quite a lot. And I think we're done. This one is a quick one. Maybe just to add a tiny bit of local contrast and also one more instance just for quick sharpening. And that's okay. That's cool. So let's see before and after. Let's go to the color calibration part, take a snapshot, diffuse and sharpen as the last step, and as you can see we are have improved quite a lot. What I don't like is that blue thingy here, so let's try improve that a bit more, maybe with tone equalizer. So I need to disable for a moment. Yes, and also color calibration. Maybe we don't need to go too far. Yeah, that's better. That's much better. So again, color calibration. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So that's enough for this episode. If you have some questions, please be free to ask in comment section or go to the pixel.us in discussion forum and ask those questions there. So thank you for watching and until the next time.